in a time when you feel pretty vulnerable, because when your kids leave at first, I can imagine, and I'm on the cusp, but I can imagine it just feels very like you're out there and you're getting used to that sense of the lack of control that you
Mm-hmm.
once had. And so you can feel very vulnerable. So I feel like those new structures and these rhythms can bring that sense of comfort. And it's healthy. It's a health, it's a healthy way to express that.
Yeah, and also it's a good time to do it because since we're heading into fall, there's going to, unfortunately, less daylight, daylight savings. The weather for most of us is going to turn, so it is a good time to adopt um, a new schedule for yourself. For me, that has to happen because some of the things I like to do in the summer happen easily because they're in the summer and it's warm and it's light early and I can go put my feet in, I can go meditate outside. So things start to shift. So I think it is good. It's a good time of year to switch things up a little bit
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
put something in place. And by the way, also, if you have been at home with your kids, where you're not, if you're not in a place right now, if you're in a place where your kids are leaving and you're not in a place where you're going, that you're not overscheduled right now because of work or whatever it is that causes you to have like a schedule for your days, it really is a good time to adopt a schedule for yourself. Otherwise, you could really get stuck in a rut, I think, and just sort of like wake up and have all this space in front of you and like nothing, you don't do anything.
That's so.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After Kids with Doctors Brooke and Lynne. I'm Dr. Brooke.
And I'm Dr. Lynne.
Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today. Before we jump into another great topic, reminder that the Life After Kids book, Rediscover Yourself and Thrive Beyond Motherhood, is available for pre-order at www.lifeafterkids.com/book. From that page, you can order from any of your favorite vendors. You can order from Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million. There's one other one, booksellers. And you can also, it's just easy for you because we put it all in one place. So you can support whatever avenue you like to support. And you can also get the free bonuses from that page as well. So
Yes. And
keep
we've
that
had
in
so
mind.
many of you message us, DM us, and comment that you've pre-ordered, and just thank you like a million times over for your support. And we just cannot wait until September. So that's why today we are talking about preparing for the fall.
Good segue, Dr.
Yeah,
Lynne.
right.
That's pretty
Right.
good.
Step one, or it's going to be a checklist of emotional and physical health as we go into the fall. But step one would be to pre-order your Life After Kids book.
That's very good. That's like, as you would say, step 0. Order your book so you're prepared.
Yes, exactly. No, that's our topic. And, most of you are going to be listening to this, mid-August sometime. And so we're a little ways off from the fall, but don't you, and we're filming this and recording this in July, but don't you feel like as soon as like August 1st comes, it's been earlier for me. I feel like when I was a kid, August was this really warm, like the dog days of summer. It feels like September and August have switched a little bit. Like August gets cool where we live and has been giving that whole fall vibe. And then September comes around and the weather gets hot again.
Yeah. We've had kind of a crummy summer. It's been weird, cool days and then super hot days. But to your point, it's funny because we get back to the house and the kids go to school and September hits and it's like, oh my gosh, this is the best weather we've had. It's
Yes.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
So,
Speaking of, if you like to travel, September is the month to do it. If you're an empty nester, get on that trip, book it, because you're so right. Anywhere that I've traveled to in September, whether it would be north, like up north where I'm from, or down south, if all of it, it feels like the best month for weather pretty much globally. I mean, I don't know about the Southern Hemisphere, but
it is good, definitely around us. I can even recall taking Ken's mother when she was still alive. She was sick at that point, but she was still living, and we took her to Nantucket 'cause she always wanted to see it. In September, like mid towards later September, and we had absolutely gorgeous weather. I remember sitting on the beach. I mean, it wasn't like 90 degrees and humid, which was refreshing. It was like in the 70s. You needed a little sweater maybe at night or like late afternoon, but to your point, and I
lots
think,
of sun, not as
yeah,
much rain.
absolutely. And we talked about this on one of our previous episodes. Is just that if you have your child for the first time going away or your last child going away, it is really a good idea to plan something that you have in the month of September to look forward to and to just get out of your four walls and pattern interrupt a little bit. So
Yes. In fact, I have that on my checklist. You probably have that on yours too. So we'll come back and dig a little deeper into that. But it's appropriate that we're talking about fall because fall is a season of transition, and that's exactly where we find ourselves, right? For me, even
I
more
hope
so this
not.
year.
I hope not the season before winter. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Dun, dun, dun. Well, after winter, spring comes around, so it
Yes.
doesn't have to be so fatalistic. But it's just a powerful reminder to check in. So, fall, that transition, us changing, it's a great time to check in emotionally, physically, spiritually. So, today we're sharing a practical checklist to help you take on that reset and get used to taking you in care of you in this season.
Yeah, and I'm the mom who um when August hit, I was already, even though we still had like 3 to 4 weeks of school left, I was already sad because I knew my kids were going back to school. Like it just felt like to me, like I've always had this thing about the passage of time just feels really unsettling to me how it goes by so fast. So I would be like, okay, I should have been like, we have 4 weeks and been present in the moment, but I'd be thinking like, oh my gosh, my kids are going back to school and summer's almost over. And I'm like, it's going to be so sad. So I've always been that mom and I still do that to an extent now that they're older, like, especially because they go to college. So for me, I've always, done a redirect, like how can I reframe this and how can I almost have a distraction to put this focus into something real positive. And I've always, I don't know if you probably do know this about me, but around that time I always start to prepare what I'm going to do to up my health game and take care of myself and sort of put some time back into wellness. And I
Yeah,
start thinking about that in August, so this is a good conversation.
yeah, I sure do. No, I sure do know that, and I do the same thing. Not to get too off topic, but what number is futuristic in your strengths profile? I wonder because there are three time based strengths. One is context; it's sort of where you live in the past, and the other one is adaptability, where you're pretty reactive in the moment. That's kind of a blessing, even though that's the person that's sort of skipping from one thing to another. And then there's futuristic, which is a strength. All of these are strengths. They make up who you are, but they tend to put you in the future. And you never want to fight against that because it's a beautiful strength that you come gifted with because you can really craft a very robust picture of the future. And that's why it's so important for you to have goals and objectives, right? If you have futuristic, because you live there, so you need it to be this. You need to have things that you're working towards and feeling on. But I wonder if that's high for you. But we got a little off topic, so let's get back to our emotional health check-in. Let's start there. We'll break it down with emotional and physical. So I think this one is going to be important. I think on the last podcast, we were talking about acceptance. And I think that there's resistance and there's acceptance. And I've just been really toying with those concepts. And, you sort of have to go through the resistance before you can get to the acceptance. But when your children leave, it's a time where it's really important to let yourself grieve and give yourself that time. And we really can't fight it anymore. The time is there. So that shift when they do leave, we know this, it can feel quiet. It can be lonely. There's all the feels. You're going to feel it all, but you're also going to feel sadness. You're going to feel nostalgic. Um, and so from that place of resistance and acceptance, I think you can't fight it anymore. So you're past the resistance. You're maybe not at the acceptance. So in the middle of that, in that space in the middle, don't push that away. Just don't marinate in it necessarily, but feel it. Let yourself feel it. Because if you don't, it's going to come back around to bite you somehow else. Don't you think? Like unexplored or unexamined emotions will show up at some point. So you're dealing with it is my point by just allowing it to be what it is.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest disservice we can do for ourselves is to not allow ourselves to feel our emotions. and not even to just feel them, but even just to notice them. I think we run so fast in life, and I just don't think we take the time to just stop and think about how we're feeling in the moment. And then second to that, like, why are we feeling that way? And I think we could do, especially in this season, I think you're right. Anytime you stuff feelings down, and especially if it's with your kid leaving and you mourning that phase of life, that's not a healthy thing. You know, it
No.
might be a nice short-term band-aid because you don't have to feel it.
Yeah.
But the long-term solution for that, because you didn't address the cause, right? So
Yeah, and whether or not we're ready for some of these questions that we can reflect on that I've jotted down here, they're still important questions. So maybe it's not September you get to these. Maybe you need a little more time and it's more like November, but you might do well to ask yourself, what do you need emotionally right now? Like, is something missing? And if so, what is that you need? Is it a greater sense of purpose, which we talk about quite a bit, right? Like, are you just feeling the void and you're not caring for someone, you just feel empty or lonely? Very often you can try to stuff that with all the things, the cheap dopamine thrills or the food or the wine or the all the lunches you can set up with all the girlfriends, but at some point that only goes so far, right? You just need that sense of doing something daily or weekly that speaks to who you are, what you give back to the world, and helps you feel important to the people that you are helping. It's such an important concept. It's our main pillar here, one of our main pillars. It's not the only one, but it's certainly a core a core need emotionally, right? Would you agree?
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of the reason why we flounder in this phase of life when the kids go, because a large part of our sense of purpose and identity is leaving home.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah. And you
sitting
can
with
go
that.
with the flow. You can just kind of, like we've said, float on the wind and just let the day take you and not really address those things. I mean, we're here because that type of thriving that we're after, we know takes intentionality.
Mm,
Right? And so it's some of these questions that can help you get through to that. And we don't have the answers, but we can help you get ask the right questions along the way. All right, so let's talk about. So that's just a few. That's just one question. I think you could also do well to think about what habits or thoughts or things in your life that are not serving you. Like, what are things that might need to? It's not just all about starting new things. It's
mm.
sometimes you need to stop things, let go of things. What are you ready to let go of? Um, I know I will be cleaning my pantry. I've already got my list. I'm not going to say I can't wait for my daughter to go away because that's not true, but I do have a plan for that week after, and I will be cleaning up my spaces.
And your smile is so big on your face right now. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I literally am like, oh, we're going to get into that. But yeah, so I think squaring up, I think anytime you square up emotionally, um, I'm sorry, when you clear up your exterior space, it helps you to find those little pieces. And you call me crazy, but it works for me. Everybody's different. But when I clean up my space, I can also find the emotional spots that need tidying. Somehow I stumble into it. I don't know. So if that's my method, it works for me,
You're sticking to it.
and I'm sticking to it.
I can't disagree with you. I don't do it to the extent that you do, but I definitely see how cathartic that can be. And I just think we've talked about this. We talk about it in the book for sure, but like when your space is cluttered, your mind will be more cluttered.
Mhm.
So when you can get a little more organized and let go of things that are no longer serving you in a real, not just like esoteric things, but like real and hard things that you have in your home that you've collected that are actually not serving you, right? It's very metaphorical on many levels.
Absolutely. Marie Kondo that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And I think it right. And we don't I don't think we necessarily consider like a spring cleaning, fall cleaning, whatever you want to say, like cleaning out, organizing closets, drawers, whatever. We don't view that as like self-care, but I think it is. I do. I think that could be added to the self-care list. And I frankly think it could be up there pretty high.
I think that's brilliant. I would concur
Yeah.
on that. Okay, so in addition to those questions, letting go of those habits and thoughts and other things around your house that are no longer serving you, setting up new routines can help you really, really set up that new identity. They can be new identity anchors, so to speak. So I love the idea of creating new weekly rhythms or daily rhythms. So whether that's like I take a walk now on after dinner, or every Sunday now we're going to make some form of soup, or I don't know, some different type of meal. Like we're going to get different takeout. But that becomes a rhythm, right? Or whether you pick up journaling or meditation or yoga, whatever it is for you, just creating a new weekly rhythm. Rhythm and structure, and I know that you can speak to this, can be so comforting. And a time when you feel pretty vulnerable, because when your kids leave at first, I can imagine, and I'm on the cusp, but I can imagine it just feels very like you're out there and you're getting used to that sense of the lack of control that you
Mm-hmm.
once had. And so you can feel very vulnerable. So I feel like those new structures and these rhythms can bring that sense of comfort. And it's healthy. It's a health, it's a healthy way to express that.
Yeah, and also it's a good time to do it because since we're heading into fall, there's going to unfortunately less daylight, daylight savings. The weather for most of us is going to turn, so it is a good time to adopt um, a new schedule for yourself or new whatever. I can't remember the word you said it very well, but you know for me that has to happen because some of the things I like to do in the summer happen easily because they're in the summer and it's warm and it's light early and I can go put my feet in, I can go meditate outside. So things start to shift. So I think it is good. It's a good time of year to switch things up a little bit
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
put something in place. And by the way, also, if you have been at home with your kids, where if you're not in a place right now, if you're in a place where your kids are leaving and you're not in a place where you're going that you're not overscheduled right now because of work or whatever it is that causes you to have like a schedule for your days. It really is a good time to adopt a schedule for yourself. Otherwise, you could really get stuck in a rut, I think, and just sort of like wake up and have all this space in front of you and like nothing, you don't do anything.
That's so brilliant. And then also I would just say to that you can have some if you're that person that sort of resists the structure a little bit, which we've talked about our differences there, and I have that tendency to push back after a few days of it because I need flexibility to feel like I'm autonomous. I don't know
Yep.
how to explain it. But inside of your structure and your rhythm, you can build in some inflexibility. So you say it's Sunday night and or it's every day, you're going to build in an hour, you're a learner, and you're going to build in an hour to do some adult learning because you know how healthy that is for you. It makes you feel alive. It puts you in your zone of genius because you're a learner and your strengths profile. Well, inside of that, you can choose a different topic every day. So like it's the same thing with the takeout. Like you don't have to have Chinese food every Sunday night. You can say, okay, well, we're going to go to a new restaurant
Mhm.
or try new cuisine. And in other words, structure doesn't have to confine you. It can help bring intention. So it's
Mhm.
important. But you can still build in that inflexibility. You get to make it look like what it is, what you want it to.
Yeah, I think another good example of that too is if you're going to determine to when fall hits or the kids go back to school or leave home, whatever the case is, um, that you're going to start exercising or moving your body every day. That's a great thing, but it doesn't have to be the same thing every day. One day
Right.
could be a walk outside. One day could be you're lifting weights. So you can, because there's something to be said for changing things up too. So the days don't run in. We've talked about this. The days don't run into each other.
Dog day effect. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great time to move into our physical checklist. Because yeah, you just said it. So fall is a great time for this. And you sort of start to get that nudge to slow down a little bit. Maybe not in the beginning, maybe not in September, but September's technically summer, right? Um,
Yeah, till the 22nd or 21st.
when we're talking like October and November, you sort of get that little slow down and it gets colder. I kind of like that. honestly, in the beginning of fall. Um, but so you can swap that. I mean, if you have been that person that's doing a lot of heavy lifting or running, I see runners all the time and I think, oh man, like, not that it's bad for you, but it can be overdone. Some of these things,
Mm-hmm.
anything can be overdone. And so that's a really good time to just sort of maybe swap it for something a little more gentle on your body. Um, Switch it up, check in. And these are obviously for people who are already moving pretty regularly. If you're not, what a great time to start start moving, right? Reassess your movement routine, what you're doing. Think about strengthening, right? I mean, it's not going away. We're getting older. We have to do more to build muscle because muscle is going to keep us alive longer. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah. And I think that so many of us fall into the trap of, summer being over and us heading into fall and then thinking, well, the year's almost over. I might as well just run my course and wait till the new year. And I do not like to view it that way. I take the mind and the perspective of what can I do now to make this the best year and end it on a really high note. I want to start it as soon as we shift from summer to fall. So that's why I like this conversation because we can
Yeah.
start to put those things in place, even if we're not doing them right away, but we can start to brainstorm and sort of make our list or pull out our goal sheet and add to it, right? The goals framework of the
Yep.
things we want to do for those last couple months before the new year hits and before the holidays come, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. I think that we talk about the last 90 days. It's a good thing to
Oh,
part
yeah.
put your goals together, pull out your framework, add some things if you need to, or just sort of get things organized for what you're going to do with your physical health. That's one of the areas on that goals framework to get you to a good and healthy place when the holidays hit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if this comes as a news flash, but sister, we do not have time to waste. We don't. I mean, we didn't when we were 20, because honestly, starting physical activity, regular physical activity at any time is like the best, most loving thing you can do for your body. But certainly now, when we're in our upper 40s and 50s and 60s and beyond, it's never too late to start, ever. And like, some is better than none. So if you can't do, I think where people go really wrong is they start something in the fall and they get excited. Okay, I'm going to start a new routine, but then their life doesn't really accommodate for the 5 times a week that they think they're going to start out with. Like, start small and look at it as a win, even if you do one workout a week. Like, just commit to what you can commit and be okay with it. It's, for some people it's all or nothing, and I feel like I'm there with you, so I've had to learn that over the years. But honestly, with this, if you can do it with any regularity, whether it's once a week or 3 times a week or once a once every 2 weeks, I don't know, it's better than nothing. So just, and also for your emotional health, how many times have we talked about how healthy it is to get out and move, and how that changes your mood and shifts things for you emotionally.
Yep, especially as we're starting to head into shorter days and cooler weather for a lot of us. It's a good time to move your body in preparation for being emotionally healthy because definitely moving your body is huge for that. So I concur.
So,
Are
so
you going into as we're talking about physical health, um, eating?
yes, that's next. Why don't you
Yep.
start us off?
Yeah, well, I think it's a good time of year. Well, I think for many of us, me included, the summer you kind of let things go. You're, a little more laissez-faire. You're having fun. You're having the barbecues. You're having the summer cocktails, whatever it is. And so for me, it's always been like fall was a good time to reset. And I also think there's something to be said for eating seasonally. So I think it's a good time to start to bring in different foods, like sort of back away from all the fruits that we've been eating. It's a good idea to eat fruits when you have more daylight. Without getting into it, it's easier for your body to metabolize, but it's fun. And I know you love this. You love the fall recipes and starting to shift into some of the more like root vegetables and things that really get your metabolism burning. So I think it's a good time of year to start making those shifts too.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we're designed. We're not supposed to be eating, if you live, up in the upper 48 states, we're not really supposed to be eating mango in December. It's not to say it's going to hurt you, but the truth of it is your body sort of needs that variety, and likes to it likes to get what is seasonal. It's just it works more, and everybody's so very different, but it definitely works with most people. Um, yeah, I think a great tip, checklist: order a new cookbook. Like, what a fun time to
Mm.
dive into that if you enjoy cooking. That is. Um, I think just that, yeah, just trying and experimenting with new foods is like so gratifying for me. And sometimes you just need that inspiration from a new chef. Could be similar recipe to what you've cooked, but there's a few different spices or a different spin on it, and it just changes it for you. So I love that. We have some of our favorites in our Amazon storefront.
Yeah, I can link those.
Tried and true favorites.
I'll put them in the
Anything
newsletter.
else? Yeah, anything else about food? I mean, as the winter progresses, you're going to need to hydrate better. Or
Mm-hmm.
thinking about that, so just check in on it. I know I'm not the best at it, but I also feel like I don't know. I don't know. I think if you eat a pretty balanced whole food diet, you're probably getting more water than you realize.
Especially if you eat a lot of fruits and or vegetables that have a lot of that are watery, like cucumbers,
Yeah,
apples, watermelon, oranges, things like that. And that's really the best type of hydration you can get.
yeah,
But if you don't tend towards that, or you're, using a sauna, or you're working out to the point of really sweating, you're probably going to need to hydrate more
yeah.
um, than you typically would. So I think it just everybody's a little bit different in their needs. Try to stay really hydrated, and that seems to help with my headaches. But I want to just circle back because I think what you said about the cookbooks. I love that idea, and I actually had written um, as I mentioned when we did our podcast interview or episode about the goals, the halfway check in, I was saying that I went back with my goals framework and wrote things out. And one of the things that I circled back to was trying new recipes and eating healthier. And I do enjoy doing that. I've actually been dabbling in it a little bit this summer, but when the fall hits, it's just such a good time because it's more cozy to get in the kitchen. And I love that idea. I've picked up a couple people that I've been following on Instagram that share recipes and things like that. But a new cookbook sounds really fun too.
Right. Add that to your yearly checklist for the fall.
Yeah, and I'll
Um,
tell you, ladies. Sorry, I keep
no,
talking, but I there's something to be said too for when you're in. And if you're not a cook, like just disregard this because some of us just hate cooking and hate being in the kitchen, and that's fine too. But if you do enjoy it, but you just haven't had the time, whatever, there's something to be said that I've noticed in probably the last 3 or 4 weeks for cooking being it's almost like a mindfulness practice and it's
yes.
very relaxing. If
Oh,
you can do it, like if you have
calming.
quiet in your kitchen and you're just, I think because I've been doing a lot of stress management and meditation and getting to a much healthier place in my like fight or flight kind of that I'm like there's been a couple times like so this is what it's like to just feel fully relaxed and be in your kitchen and there's
Oh,
just something about the rhythm of that, like cutting up the vegetables and getting them in the like it's just, and then to be able to eat it and enjoy it.
yes.
There's not a lot like it.
It can be like a walking meditation, right? Like turn on some music and turn on your diffuser, or don't just smell the ingredients as they
Yeah.
cook. Yeah, really give it some love. I think there's a definite difference in eating something that you make yourself. Like how satisfying, how gratifying is that? Love
Yep.
that. Love that conversation. I don't think I think that's a brand new. That's the first time we've discussed anything like that. So
Yeah, I we talk in the book about how meditation doesn't listen. Don't get me wrong, because I've been practicing a lot of like Christian meditation, and there is definitely something to be said. And I probably poo pooed it a little bit in the book because I could never sit still and just meditate. But there's something to be said for it. It's very powerful.
mhm.
And as I state in the book, if that's not for you, you don't have the time, you just can't sit still, whatever, there are things that you can do that are still meditative because they're mindful and they bring you into the present moment. That could be like crocheting, that could be working a jigsaw puzzle. And that we never talked about cooking, but cooking really can be.
I love it. I love
Yep.
it. Also, we can't have a conversation about physical health and checklists without talking about our hormones. So,
Mm.
making sure that you're maybe it's a time to go to your functional doctor and get a baseline for your hormones, or just to be aware if you are still cycling. Maybe chart that for a couple of weeks and just become aware of your highs and lows there. I think just um, knowing those things can sometimes be very powerful. It helps you to know yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly if you're having any issues or, you know, menopause symptoms, maybe getting in, like I said, with somebody who is a great provider who's going to look at the root cause and look to help you balancing, whether that's, just tightening up your diet or hydrating better or sleeping better, because there are so many impactful, like we always think about outside interventions, and really those basic things done right can help your body do what it's naturally born to do, innately born to do, which is to balance those hormones. And sometimes you do need outside help. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying at a minimum start with those things, and then you can add in more complicated interventions later. But get those things right first, because foundationally that's going to help your entire health, not just your hormone health.
Yeah, and you made a very wise statement a couple of episodes ago. I don't recall exactly which episode it was, but it has stuck with me because you said, I don't know if you remember saying this or not, but you said, if you're looking for a project or something to do now that your kids are leaving, make your health your project. And I love that because that can be a purpose in itself. Yeah, you did say that. And I
It
think
sounds
it's
awful.
very, what's that? It sounds awful.
I said, that sounds awful. Like, that doesn't sound, because for me, dialing into that, I
Oh,
can
that's
be
not for you. But
moderate, but no, I
that
can
can
see
be a purpose in itself. If you've have, especially if you're a mom that put everybody your own needs and your own health to the
so
wayside
true.
because of your kids, and you're like, what am I going to do now with my time? The best place to start might be with learning to take care of yourself better and focusing on your health.
Love
And
it.
you'll find that when your physical health is better, you will navigate the waters of this transitional time much better. So,
So true. Yes, absolutely. The stronger you are physically, the stronger you are emotionally, the more resilience you have going
yeah,
into things, life's hard challenges, which are inevitable, right? So,
absolutely.
all right. The third section. So we talked a lot about emotional, physical, but I just love the cozy habits and the little joy rituals and things that we should have on our checklist. And one of them you touched at the beginning of this episode, which is plan a fun trip, go do
Hmm.
something fun. Um, Especially if you are, the first time in the home without the kids.
Yes.
But yeah, time it appropriately, and also the cookbooks. Let's see, just
Movie
asking,
night.
what brings you joy in the fall? Like cooking that's a natural one for me. So do it. Come on, make space for it. Don't put, I feel like sometimes we withhold things, joy, and we're here to tell you, don't do that. It's not the time. It's not the time for that anymore. You're going to dive into it. You're going to light the fall candle. You'll have the afternoon cup of tea. You'll take the drive in the car, leisurely car, books by the fire, whatever it is for you that creates joy. Make sure that you're doing it, enough of it, to not compensate, but to fill those, natural spaces that are left behind.
Yeah. Movie night's another good one.
Movie nights,
Yep. And
puzzles.
puzzles. I do this at the start of every summer, and I probably should start doing it in the fall too, but every summer I go there's a little bookstore in town close to my house that I go to, and I just spend maybe an hour there, and I love to browse it, and I pick up a stack of like 5 or 6 books that I'm going to read for the summer. Even that just for me is something to look forward to. So, if you don't have your summer reading list or the summer reading list is off, there's something to be said, and we don't do it enough. Just like go to the bookstore,
Yes, I love
right?
I
I
love that.
love bookstores.
Coffee, go browse the stacks. We don't have enough bookstores. That's why it's so important to support like the independent local
Yeah.
bookstores. can't believe that.
Absolutely.
Those words have never come out of my mouth because I've never really been aware of it. But you just saying that reminds me that I would have to drive quite a ways to go to a bookstore, and it's sort of sad. So let's keep bookstores alive and buy from the local guys.
And by the way, you can have some really great conversations with the people that work there because they know their stuff. Like I've had some great recommendations, and then that leads to like, oh, if you love like France and this book, like it's just all the food. Oh, you know what she asked me? Have I seen Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris? She's like, if
Oh,
you've
and you
seen
said
that or read that, I was like, yes, I did because of my friend. I didn't read it. I didn't know it was even a book.
I didn't either. Oh,
Yeah, it was a book, and she said that the book was actually really good. And usually books are better. But anyway, I'm getting off a tangent. I'm just saying that if you're craving some conversation, you can get that at the bookstore too.
bookstore. There you go. When you're feeling a little lonely, I love it. I'm going to leave with this last thought because I've been ruminating on this for a while. And Dr. Brooke, I think you're going to love this idea. But I feel like we could have, especially for the fall, like engage in some sort of mini challenge, like a mini Life After Kids challenge, which would be like, like waking up and jotting down 3 things you're grateful for. So it would touch on physical, emotional, and the cozy rituals. Take 1 picture a day of something that you feel pretty, like that makes when you look out the window, whether it's like the trees changing the leaves or something. And this is just off the top of my head. I think we could kind of tighten this up and make this to be where it feels like a really intentional exercise. It's very doable. It's not like you're adding a whole second job to your life, like the 75 hard. Have you heard of that? Right?
Yeah.
75 hard. This is more of a let's bring joy, let's bring reset, let's bring emotional balance and get a boost physically in a Life After Kids challenge for moms. So,
Like
trying
50 soft.
Yes. Perfect. That's a perfect name.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to say it before it went out of my mind.
Trying a new thing each week, like recipe class, and so you check each of those things off. And I mean, I'm a list person. I'm not a diligent doer, but I have some executing talents. And so I do love to check off a box. And so for those of you that are also in that camp, I think you might get excited by that as well.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Really good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So wrapping it up, key takeaways.
You waiting on me? I think
make joy a priority, not a luxury.
That's huge. And make yourself a priority too, in your health
and emotionally. Love
Yep.
it. Yep. Print Absolutely. Out your own checklist, and don't forget to put things you want to let go of, or stop doing, things that aren't serving you, in addition to adding. And this was fun. We gotta circle back. There's something there on getting within our community, getting like a collaborative or a community challenge going, but we're just spitballing right now on it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm sure the ladies would enjoy that. Yeah. And go to your local bookstore and buy a cookbook, and also buy the Life After Kids book.
Very good. Very good. Perfect place to stop.
Yeah. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us again today. Make sure you're following us on all the channels, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube if you prefer to watch. The website is www.lifeafterkids.com. If you want to get the book, it's lifeafterkids.com/book. I hope you have a great day and an even better week.
Yes. Remember, this is your season. Talking about the fall season, but this is your season. And stay cozy, stay bold, and have a great week. Hugs to you.
Thanks, ladies.